With that, then we come to the last topic for the day, closures. Another fancy term, I would say. Now, if you people go onto the Google and write what is closures in JavaScript, Google is going to provide you a very fancy definition. But if you come and ask me, ma'am, what is closures? I'll just tell you this. This is what a closure in JavaScript is, right? So this is what a closure in JavaScript is. And that's how you will be asked at your interviews. They'll have a straightforward question, how closures are formed in JavaScript. Just to check the knowledge you people have, because that question itself is having multiple questions to be asked. So they will have a single question, how closures are formed in JavaScript. Now, how closures are getting formed in JavaScript can be understood with this, what is written here. We all understand function. We all understood lexical environment. Yes or no? Yes or no? If you people say yes, then you already know closures. Let's come back to lexical, where we learned about lexical. Let's take the same example. This is the last topic, guys. So let's just complete this as well. Closures in JavaScript. Let's just remove the extra things we covered during lexical. And let's just make this uncovered. Okay. Now there is going to be only one change. All of us understood lexical environment. Anything that belongs to the parent, a child can have an access to. Yes or no? Yes. But now there is just one change I will make to this code. What is that change, ma'am? That instead of invoking the child function directly, I don't want to call the child function directly here. So, ma'am, what you want to do? I want to return this. I simply am returning the child. That's the only difference I'll make now, right? I'm not calling the child function immediately. I am returning the child function. But now think about it. What is parent function having inside it, guys? Parent function is having a variable, ma'am, a function, and a return statement, right? Three things are having a variable, a function, and a return statement. So if I'm now calling the parent function, what will it do? What will it do if I'm calling the parent function? It is returning me something. If it is returning me something, I have to store it somewhere. Yes or no? Because if I am going to execute it like this, it's not printing anything, na? Why would it print? Think about it, guys. Akila, it will not print anything. It's not having any console statement, right? It is returning us something. It is returning us something. So now if it is returning us something, we have to store it or we have to write it in console. So let's just store it here. I'm going to create the variable called result now. Everyone will answer this line by line. I am storing something in result. What is getting stored in result? Everyone. What is inside the result variable now? The function. Which function? Parent function. No. Those who are saying parent function, guys, parent function is something I invoked. So how can a parent function be stored here? Parent function is returning me child. Do we all see? Parent function is returning me child. So child is getting stored in result. Now I have a question for you. If I have to call the child function, how would I call it? I want answers. If I have to call the child function, how would I call it now? You already learned expressions, function expression. When a function is stored in a variable, how do we invoke it? Through the variable names. Through the variable names. So that means all I have to do is use the variable name and invoke the function. So can I say that we will now write console.log of result? Yes, that is how I will invoke the child function. Yes, let's see what it would do. It works here. It works and it prints something, right? It works and it prints. Now, what is it printing? It's printing two things here. Ma'am, first of all, result function got invoked. So result function was having a console statement, and that function is that entire string is getting printed. Second, it is printing undefined. Why? Because result was having a function invocation. It was not having any value. So function got invoked, that got printed, whatever the function was supposed to do. As such, result is not having any value stored inside it. Why? Does child function give any value to it? No, it was having a console statement only. So result is not having any value stored inside. That's why JavaScript returns us undefined. So basically, to invoke your child function, we only have to do this, right? We don't need any console because result is not getting any value. But now I have a question for you, for all of you. You learned function scopes. Everyone learned function scope. How can I access message from outside the function? How is it possible that I'm accessing message variable from outside? Because it should not happen. Make it global? No, it's not global. It is still inside the function itself. Message is inside the function. Variable. Inheritance, no. Still not having the right answer. Callback, no. Guys, function scope said you make any variable using let, var, and const. You cannot access it from outside. Then how can I access this line even from outside? See, this is getting printed here. Okay, since I have not received the right answer, it's time to break the suspense now. Yes, Nitin is close now. Guys, now understand one thing here. When I wrote return child, what do you people think? That it returned this part? Yes or no? Yes or no? That's where you made a mistake. That's where you made a mistake. When I said return child, it is getting returned with its lexical scope. So anything that belongs in its lexical environment, it is getting returned along with child. So because we already learned the concept of lexical scope, child can access the variables of parent. Child function was itself having an access to message. So even after the parent returned, child function will still be able to access the value in its lexical environment. So this line that you people are seeing forms a closure in JavaScript. So if your interviewer asks you what forms a closure in JavaScript, you have to have a simple line saying, when we return a function along with its lexical environment. When you return a function along with its lexical environment, a closure gets formed in JavaScript. A closure gets formed in JavaScript. Whenever you return a function along with its lexical environment. Now think about it, guys. When we are returning a function, we are in the nested function scenario already, right? And if we are in the nested function scenario already, then you will have the lexical environment also. So that means you are not only returning the function, you are returning the function with its lexical environment. So anything that belongs in its lexical scope, it can always access that. So that is the reason it can still access IAM from parent function even from outside. That's the concept of closures in JavaScript. What if we don't use return statement? What if we say return? Why would we say return parent, Ramandeep? What's that concept coming from? How can you say return parent? How is the, if you create a function, how does that function work? Doesn't that function work by invocation? Yes or no? A function is useless unless we call it. So we have to call the parent function. Yes or no? So how can we return parent? We cannot return parent. We can call the parent. Parent is having a return child. If you don't write return here, no closure will get formed. Then it means you are calling the child function directly. So closure is not going to get formed. That's what I said. A closure in JavaScript will be formed when you people will return a child along with its lexical environment. Only then a closure gets formed. If you are not using return child, that means you are having the lexical scenario, you are calling the child. So that's okay. It will immediately work. But closure will only get formed when you will have a function getting returned with its lexical environment. Yes, we cannot always say child. So we say when a function is returned with the lexical environment, right? And obviously lexical environment, that means you are already in the part of your nested functions itself. Does that make sense to us? Okay, Manish, what do closures do and what is its purpose? So in your upcoming sprints, practically you will be doing it, Manish, through the closure concepts. Actually, we use them for creating your private variables, for encapsulating the data, and for implementing modules, right? That's another concept you will learn. So there we use closures in JavaScript. But these all are the part of your next sprint. So to like this sprint, you will learn the concept, and practical implementation you will learn in your upcoming sprint. But just as I said, encapsulating data, we use closures. Majorly, we use it in modules for implementing modules and also for creating the private variables. So that is where we use closures heavily. Okay, let me again summarize closures here. Everyone, let me summarize closures for you. When will a closure form? When you will return a child, this child is not getting returned alone. No, this is not what is getting returned. It is getting returned with its lexical environment, and that's why it is able to access variable of parent even when the parent has returned, or even from outside the parent function. Does everyone make sense out of it? How does a closure forms in JavaScript? Okay, we'll do a quick activity for you to understand this. All of us are going to answer this. What would be the outcome for this? 3 console statements I have. Write your answers if you are 100% sure. This is the last activity for the day. Don't make guesses, guys, because we can see some numbers written here. Don't make any guesses. If you 100% understood this, then return me the output. 3 console statements, so 3 outputs. Remember, anything that belongs to the parent, child can have an access to because of its lexical scope. Akhila says 10, 18, 28. So those who are going to answer it, I'll feel like you people understood this. 10, 18, 28. Okay, Ramandeep. 10, 20, 18, 28. Kashish, Natrayan, Sam. Okay, same. Everyone is having same answer so far. Saurav is also having the same answer. Nima is also having the same answer. So Charita is also having the same answer. Fantastic. That's really good to see so many of you answering this. Okay, then let me ask this out. How many of us have difficulty in understanding this activity? Drop a -1. That's okay, Shreyansh. That's exactly where I have to help you in, right? Okay, good. Now, all those who are clear with this, I don't want you people to put answers in the chat box now. I want you to just hold on for a few minutes, and all the -1s, you are going to talk to me on the chat now, right? We are going to discuss this so that you people can be clear of this activity too. So all those who already understood, guys, just hold on. Okay, we'll go case by case, right? Let me just take first console only so that you can understand this case by case. I'll just comment the remaining ones. Okay, let's understand this part. Few people have to answer me, all those who said we have a difficulty. I created a variable multiply 2, that's a name, and I'm calling a function multiply and I'm passing an argument 2. Answer this, where is this 2, number 2 getting stored? Where is this number 2 getting stored? Only the -1 peoples will answer so that they can clear this concept. Where is this 2 getting stored? In stored number? Absolutely correct answer, guys. So it means stored num got a value 2. Because I am calling the multiply function, function will get executed. Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay. So function is getting executed. Can you people tell me what is inside the function? We are just having one line which is return something. Yes or no? So that function is returning us another function. So can I say that this multiply to variable got something to store inside? Can I say this multiply to variable now holds the function inside it? Yes or no? -1 people will answer yes. Now there is this variable which is holding a function inside it. If I have to invoke this function, how would I invoke it? How would I invoke it? If a variable is holding a function, name with the round brackets. Can you people see I'm writing the name of the variable multiply 2 and then I'm having the round brackets and I'm passing an argument 5. Can you tell me where is this 5 going now? Where is this 5 going now? Shreyansh, think again. Multiply 2 is invoking the function stored inside it. So where is this 5 going? Inside num. Absolutely. Num got a value 5, but this function has to execute. And what this function has to do now, guys? It has to return stored num multiplied by num. Ma'am, how will it remember stored num? Because stored num belong to its parent. Anything that belongs to the parent, child can have an access to because of lexical scope. So it will still remember the value of stored num, which is 2. And now num is having the value 5, which makes it 10. That is the concept of closure. So this forms a closure because you are returning a function with its lexical scope. So stored num belong to the parent, and since it belongs to the parent, child can have an access to it. Do we now understand the concept, everyone? Those who are having difficulty? That is exactly how we got it. In the next time, we are calling multiply 3. So, stored num got a value 3. Then, num got a value 6. We are just multiplying them. So, 3 into 6 makes the value 18. Next time, we are calling here multiply 4. So, stored num got a value 4 and num got a value 7. What this function has to do? Multiply 4 into 7, returning us 28. It's complicated. No, Ramandeep, actually, I won't say it's complicated. If you understand lexical scope, it's not. You just have to remember one thing. A function is going to be returned with its lexical environment. And because you are using the term lexical environment, you have to remind yourself anything that belongs to the parent, child will have an access to. 3 simple things you remember. Closures are not complicated then. Okay, is everyone clear with this activity? Those who are having -1s and doubts? Okay.